Many of the best solutions for a smarter and more sustainable world will come from entrepreneurs with passion, innovative ideas, and determination. We are that spark of life where ideas and capital meet, creating opportunities, enabling growth and prosperity. We have created a financial ecosystem that allows anyone at any time or place to find opportunities for growth. As the first exchange in the world, we share income from transactions with the companies listed with us, stimulating their growth and building a genuine, committed partnership. A true local Nordic partner with over 30 years of exchange experience and with doors open to the European capital markets. Together, we enable growth and spark prosperity.
Welcome to Nordic Growth Market's webinar on how to easily access the European capital market. My name is Magdalena Hartman and I'm the CEO of Nordic Growth Markets. Thanks for joining. We believe that raising capital to grow should be easy and without borders. And we have therefore combined our services with our German partner and owner, Börse Stuttgart, by establishing a cross-border market that brings Sweden and Germany closer together. We enable our companies to be dual listed in Germany via their listing on the Nordic Growth Market. This provides a unique opportunity to reach the heart of the European capital markets. Through a dual listing, companies are able to expand their investor base with increased access to capital, both from European retail as well as institutional investors. In January, we successfully launched the dual listing initiative, and our first 4 companies was listed in Stuttgart. Later on in the seminar, we will talk to the CEO of Eurobattery, who was one of the listed companies, about the opportunities that the dual listing has brought for them. Today, we have the pleasure on listening to our experts on the opportunities for the Swedish growth companies accessing the German capital markets, and we'll hear more about their experiences on crucial factors for a successful entry. With us today, we have Ninni Löfgren-Tischer, Head of Market Entry and Business Development from the German-Swedish Chamber of Commerce, Holger Clemens-Hinz, Managing Director and Head of Corporate Finance at the Kirin Privatbank, Roberto Garcia Martinez, CEO of Eurobattery Minerals, and Dr. Mikael Fulter, CEO of Börse Stuttgart Group. Did you know that Germany is Europe's economic engine with 84 million inhabitants? It's also Sweden's largest trading partner. Sweden and Germany has long-standing relationships, and this year the German-Swedish Chamber of Commerce are celebrating its 70th anniversary, so congratulations. With us to tell us more about the German market and the opportunity is one of our partners at the German-Swedish Chamber of Commerce, Ninni Löfgren-Tischer. Welcome, Ninni.
Thank you so much, Magdalena, for having us, and thank you so much for your congratulations.
Well, it's great having you here with us, Ninni. And it would be great if you could please tell us more about why the German market is so important for the Swedish growth companies and what they should think about if they would like to enter the market.
I would love to do that, and I will start directly if that's okay with you.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Perfect. So Germany, as you already told us, Magdalena, has been and still is Sweden's absolute most important trading partner. And new statistics show that even though the trade flows between our countries during 2020 were affected by the consequences of the pandemic, Germany still is the most important import nation with a grand total of 250 billion Swedish kronas. And on the export side, we find Germany on second position of the list, just behind Norway. And despite of a decline of approximately 5%, the grand total here amounts to 151 billion Swedish krona. So how come? There has been a long tradition in doing business together between our countries, and that is not just because we're neighboring nations, but since we have a lot in common. We share similar values and attitudes, focusing on development and innovation, and we are proud of our engineering skills and our inventions back in the past and now. We are on our toes and we want to stand in the front row, being forerunners, and on the same time focusing on quality and reliability. And so we match also in our focus areas. We share the same main industries and market segments, starting with the automotive industry, the ICT sector and medtech, but also raw material and pharmaceuticals, as well as services. And we have some good examples with us today in this webinar. So it's no wonder that the German-Swedish trade relations are tight and might even increase in times of digitalization and climate change. We have to become faster and maybe even smarter, leave our comfort zones if we want to meet these challenges. So consensus and collaboration is always a lot easier between friends and longtime partners. Today, we have approximately 1,800 Swedish companies in Germany, employing 130,000 people, and 1,200 German-owned companies in Sweden with approximately 80,000 employees. And we can see continuous activity towards new bilateral constructs. And this with the support from the respective governments. You might know that we in 2017 had a signed contract between our countries, the so-called German-Swedish Innovation Partnership, and that was actually renewed by Angela Merkel and Stefan Löfven at the Hanover Fair in 2019. This gives also a political mandate and a frame for reference for more bilateral activities. A lot of activities are already on the way, but as we see it in the chamber, there's so much more potential for Swedish companies on the German market. Germany is the fourth largest economy in the world, and as you said, Magdalena, the engine of Europe and the biggest market in the EU. Its central position geographically in Europe makes it easy to reach from Sweden, but also perfect as a hub for further expansion. 30 years after peaceful reunification, it is also a politically stable market. And you should not forget the positive image that Sweden has in Germany, the so-called Sweden bonus. The German market, with its 83 million inhabitants and a dynamic economy, is vibrant and full of possibilities, but it's also tough and competitive. We are a federal state, as you might know, with 16 quite independent states, the Bundesländer. Even if we have central legislation, there's a lot of areas where you have to look into regional regulations and processes. And that's why we often recommend starting with one region, a region where you see a good match in your own focus areas and your industry, where you can find your customers at home and you fit into an ecosystem that gives your market entry a boost. And that's why we, of course, like that you look into one of the German areas, in this case, Baden-Württemberg, with almost 11 million inhabitants, a bit more than Sweden, and its capital, Stuttgart. We find good matches with a lot of typically Swedish industry segments, being the heart, for example, of the automotive and now mobile industry with both OEMs, Porsche, Mercedes, and subcontractors in several tiers, but also other areas of engineering. A home base for a lot of companies within the German so-called Mittelstand and hidden champions. This is something you might have heard before. Small, medium-sized companies with a specific management mindset, often family-owned, but still very internationally active. Here we see a good match between the Swedish and the Swabian way of doing business, long-term and sustainable. And that makes me, of course, extra happy since I'm too a product of the region. With that said, the German market sure has an interesting potential for Swedish companies in many business areas. But at the same time, you have to be prepared to succeed. Have a plan, stick to it, and endure, because it takes time to get running. And then your German commitment could be the perfect stepping stone to other markets within your internationalization process. So maybe summarizing the 5 key success factors for a good start in Germany. Think regional, as you heard about the 16 states. Find your Germany and start there. Think niche. Define your unique selling points where you're unique. Find your spot to light up. Be prepared. Make your homework and have a plan. Don't forget the details, because fine-tuning along the way is not an option for us Germans. Think in a German way. Screen your business case with German eyes. And be persistent. Starting up takes time, but it will get you loyal customers in Germany. And then, last but not least, we have financing. That's why we, of course, applaud initiatives like the one from Börse Stuttgart and NGM, linking our markets and companies together even tighter and facilitating a further growth on both markets. So, we are ready from the German-Swedish Chamber of Commerce to facilitate and to help and assist you on that way. And Magdalena, we, as I said, applaud this initiative, and we're looking very much forward to hear the success stories that you already mentioned. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ninni, for a great introduction and really good advice when it comes to the key factors to think about and consider when you're entering into the German market. And now we will actually move over to Stuttgart and to meet Dr. Völter, who's the CEO of Börse Stuttgart Group. Börse Stuttgart was founded in 1861 and is now one of the largest exchanges within Europe. Dr. Völter, it would be great if you can give us a short introduction of Börse Stuttgart Group.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and dear investors. Thank you for joining into the NGM webinar, give your company an easy access to the German market. We're very proud to have you here on board. Germany is the biggest country within the EU. We have 80 million people. And Baden-Württemberg, where Börse Stuttgart sits, is a very prosperous region within Germany. We have car manufacturing, we have biotechnology, information technology, and a very big set of tool manufacturing companies. And what you do not know maybe, Stuttgart is one of the most fast-growing financial centers in Germany, looking by the Global Financial Index. Let me say a few words about Börse Stuttgart. Börse Stuttgart is a mother company of Nordic Growth Markets in Sweden, Stockholm, and of the BX Swiss, an exchange within Zurich, Switzerland. We are Germany's leading floor-based exchange and the first choice of retail investors. Here in Stuttgart, investors can trade not only equities, but also securitized derivatives, bonds, exchange-traded fund units, and other assets, while benefiting from top quality execution at the best prices. In 2020, the company has recorded a total trading volume of around 111 billion euros across all asset classes, making it Europe's 10th biggest exchange. What is special about Börse Stuttgart? Our hybrid market model integrates trading experts into the electronic trading process. Their role is to inject additional liquidity as required and to ensure that all orders are executed quickly and reliably and at best prices. So far to Börse Stuttgart. I want to introduce now our new trading segment here at the exchange. We call it the dual listing offer. And we're very happy to combine the both markets, Sweden and Germany, together, to combine the both strength of NGM and Börse Stuttgart. We can give Swedish growth companies a new market, a greater visibility on the capital markets of the Eurozone by listing them not only in Sweden, but also here in Stuttgart. And so we open Swedish to the Euro markets, and especially to the very interested investors here in Germany. For German investors, the new trading segment offers an easy access to the section of the Swedish capital market we are fascinated of, the new growth companies. And we're very happy to offer the direct link between NGM and Stuttgart. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Felter. Now it's time to move on to Berlin, where we have Eurobattery's CEO, Roberto Garcia Martinez, with us. Welcome, Roberto.
Good morning, Magdalena. Guten Morgen, everyone. Good morning.
Roberto, Eurobattery is a success case and one of the first companies to become dual listed within the NGM REACH program in Stuttgart. You're mining ethical and fully traceable minerals for the electric revolution, and you have recently also participated in our program and entered the heart of the automotive industry in Germany, in Stuttgart. Roberto, can you please tell us a little bit more about your business and what the dual listing has brought for opportunities for Eurobattery?
Absolutely, Magdalena. As you well explained, we are a mining company, Swedish mining company. We are focused in electrical battery minerals extracted in a sustainable, ethical, and traceable way. We want to help Europe become neutral CO emission in 2050, and also to be supporting to a value chain positive for the European market. Saying that, we have, as you have mentioned it, we are a European company. We are not only Swedish, we are not only Europe and German. So we are European. We like to make ourselves or call it a boutique mining company because we are fine, but we are small. We want to help Europe to be independent from China or from outside to Europe, and to provide minerals for the European markets, especially for the car industry, for the automotive industry, and in general to help the world to be more clean and green in the next years. We are very focused in the Nordic countries, but saying that also we have projects actually in Spain, and who knows, maybe soon also in Germany.
Great. Thank you so much, Roberto, for a great overview.
Thank you.
And now we will move over to our German-based advisor, Quirin Bank. Welcome, Holger Clemens Hinz, Managing Director and Head of Corporate Finance at Quirin Bank. You are a fully regulated German-based privately owned bank that was established in 1998. Welcome, Holger.
Yeah, welcome from Germany, now from Frankfurt, our branch.
It's great having you here with us. I was wondering, could you please tell us more about what important factors there are for a Swedish company to become successful in the German capital markets, and how you can help with corporate finance services?
Let me give you a short overview about our capacities which we do have in the investment banking. Our bank is, as you told, established in 1998, and we have two business divisions. That means private banking, and on the other side, investment banking. And investment banking means, on the one hand side, corporate finance, on the second side, institutional sales and trading, institutional research as a third point, and capital market services. That means the execution of capital markets transactions on the debt and equity side in three parts of the CSD world in Europe. That means in Germany and in Switzerland and in Austria. We are, since our establishment, which raises in the Neuer Markt times, one of the first IPO banks in Germany. And so starting from Germany, we have also a European reach to the investor base. That means wealth managers on the one hand side, family offices, private bank, pension funds, and insurance companies, which we will cover out of our team from Frankfurt. we were really lucky that we get approached from Börse Stuttgart and you from Stockholm to talk about the German market, because the first step out of our view is really to get a secondary listing and a euro-denominated listed to enter the euro market within through Germany, also within the Euroland. And that's really a starting point. But I could refer to also to my speakers before. You have to be local, and you have to focus on international standards in your communication. That's one on the first point. I think I can give as remark. On the one hand side, you have to start IR and PR also locally within Germany, so that you get awareness here. And you have to fulfill at least the regulations and also communication guidelines which are given, like the German companies have to be on the German market. And for essence, and that's where we could come in, is appointing a local banking partner, which you get paid research, and also investor access through capital markets conferences, investor days, and also reverse roadshows, which could be offered by us. And I think it depends on the size, but it's really important that you start also with international reporting standards within your financial communication, but that depends on the size. It's totally clear that NGM is a marketplace where also growth companies have their first footprint in. That's also in Germany here. We have certain segments where you have to comply with German GAAP, you with Swedish GAAP, but for essence and also to widen your investor universe, it would be of essence that you as sooner than later comply with IFRS from the starting point. Market-wise, if we compare us to Sweden, our IPO markets is not so active like we've seen it in Sweden. But that's really a chance also for growth companies to come to Germany and also within the Euroland, because the funds flow is there also within this low interest market, which we currently have. The appetite for new invests are there on the investor side. And so it could be really good to see also a starting point, but that's only for the IPO business, that it would be a joint run on the German market and on the Swedish market.
Great. Thank you so much, Holger, for a great introduction and good advice. And we will now move over to the Q&A session and start with a couple of questions. I will start with Ninni. How can you help Swedish companies in Germany when it comes to finding potential clients, partnerships, or industry exhibitions?
Yeah, thank you, Magdalena, for that question. We are a business facilitator, and we are part of the German chamber network. That is maybe important to mention, because in Germany, all companies have to be part of this network. And we use our network then within industry and business and politics and academia for the companies, as well as our well-known name to get the company started. And we do that very pragmatic and result-oriented, because every case is individual and we have to assist in a very tailor-made way with our supports, seeing how we could help you with the market entry, business development, but maybe also with the starting to analyze the market situation. Is the market interesting for you, and how to get the market the market entry done? So we can define the right entry strategy and target groups for you, but we can then also help you to find the relevant matches, the business partners and customers, open doors for you, book meetings. And of course, we also have business support. That means legal advice, establishing your company in Germany, for example, but also find suitable personnel, employ them, handle bookkeeping, payroll, environmental reporting, and so on. So yeah, a one-stop shop, you might call it. And we do that, as you mentioned, 70 years now, with the 65 market experts here based in Sweden, but with our colleagues at 80 places in the chambers in Germany. So facilitating a soft landing, you could say, with a passion for German-Swedish cultural understanding.
That's great, and it's impressive on you know, the level of services that you can offer. And what would you say would be the main factor for a Swedish company entering into the German market in order for them to become successful?
I think, I mean, we already heard a lot of good advice from our speakers today. And I think the most important thing is to be prepared. It sounds really easy or fluffy, but still the German market is big and it's tough. And you have to have a good plan, because in Germany, we don't like to have this fine tuning all on the way. So you have to look into it in detail and get support. So it's fantastic that we have, like in this webinar, a lot of partners that you could hook up with and use to get a good start in Germany.
Thank you so much, Mimi. We will now move over to Roberto. And if I would ask you the same question, what do you consider as the key factors to become successful? And can you give any good advice for Swedish companies?
I'm full agree with Mini and with Holga. Be prepared. Germany is a very tough country, very big country. Nevertheless, is the biggest economy in Europe. So you have to have a clear strategy to communicate to investors, to communicate to media. I have to say that Eurobattery Minerals has an extraordinary coverage since 3 months or 2 months here in Germany for now. So you have to be local, you have to take care of investors in this country, to take care of the media. And absolutely one thing that is also, we don't have to forget, is that your colleagues in Stuttgart, the Börse Stuttgart team, has support us from A to Z. So we have to thank to this support to have successful in our company.
That's great, thank you. And what have been the response from your major shareholders on the due listing?
Excitement, excitement, Magdalena. Our investors are very, very happy. The Börse Stuttgart had 2 ways of meaning for us. First, we are in the very center heart of the automotive industry. Germany is the motor of in this industry in Europe. So obviously, as potential supplier for sustainable minerals for the battery industry, it's important to be close to this industry. So that is one thing that it helps us a lot of. The second thing is in Germany, sustainable investment play a big role. It's on the top of agenda for the current government from Angela Merkel. And we don't have to forget also that in September, in this country will be elections. And without going to political comments today, but it could be possible that the Green Party will be part of the new coalition in the government. So saying that, sustainable investment play a big role. And we believe that for many Swedish companies, as Mina said, when we come to take advantage of these Nordic countries, then sustainability play a big role, can be a good bridge for them to be in Germany, definitely.
Great, thank you so much, Roberto. And now we'll move over to Holger. How would you describe an ideal process for a Swedish company that wants to enter into the German capital markets? What should they think about?
Thank you, Magdalena. Out of my view, like told, you need a plan. And that means either if you are already listed on the NGM and doing not your IPO, which you could do in parallel, the starting point would be the appointment of a banking partner and also IR, PR advisor, which at least brings you on top of the investor's edge, and on the other side, on the press edge. You have to cover the media, also the local ones. Yeah, so retail investors get awareness of you, and a research piece is all the essence for an institutional investment, and also needed for any attending of an investor conference, which we also do offer in Germany, locally from the stock exchanges, and on the other side also by broker, yeah, and also by region.
Great, thank you. What can you offer when it comes to capital market days and roadshows in Germany? Communication is key to reach the investors, as you said.
That's totally clear. Yeah, the starting point, if you like to attend to these investor conferences, or at least also roadshows, what you need to speak to investors is a research piece, so that everybody could at least compare you to your peers on the global capital markets. Yeah, that's not only Germany. That's at least you are entering the Euroland for the first step, and what we are doing is we are offering paid research or capital market partnerships, which we are telling them, yeah, as sponsored research, and also roadshows where we bring you to the German investors and also to European investors in the typical major hubs of investors presence.
Thank you so much. So just to summarize what you've all said when it comes to the good advice for a Swedish company that wants to enter into the German market, it's important to have a plan, stick to the plan, and to also communicate with your investors. Is there anything else that you would like to add when it comes to what you would like to advise, a Swedish company that is entering into this market?
Maybe I can just give a bit more. It's actually the same note again, but maybe you can think out of the box and think a bit smartly when you enter the German market, because the German market is big, and it's costly to get into the market. So also find partners, as we heard Holger mention before, to see where could we hook up, and where could we maybe find a smart way in, not roll out the full machine, but still see how could a smart communication look like, and maybe surprise with another and a different way in. That could be an advice for this big market that we have in Germany.
Is Magdalena, you allow me to say something also, is I'm full agree with my other two colleagues here in this wonderful seminar today. I believe that it will be necessary if someone speak German to the German people. Germany is a very proud country when it's come to their language. I know that Sweden is very international when it's come to presentations in English, but Germany is something a little different. And as Nina said, we have to think a little different when you approach to this great country and great community. Hire someone that can communicate to the media, to the locals, to investors in their own language, is my suggestions. It will come easier, and you will swim better in this community. I have to say, I have to say also that in our case, for example, the trading volume since we are in the Börse Stuttgart has increased considerable in the last 3 months, based on the absolutely amazing media coverage that the German press is doing with us. And I believe that is a key topic that for any Swedish company they want to enter in this market needs to do. So take the advice of Nina and Holga and look for local partners if you want to win the German market.
Well, thank you so much for summarizing, all the good advice and that you shared your experience with us today. We really appreciate it. And as we said, we will have contact details if there's any companies that want to speak to you and hear more about your services. Thank you so much to all of the participants that's been with us today at the webinar. Highly appreciated. And also thanks for everyone who's been with us, who's been watching the webinar. Stay tuned, more information will follow. Have a good day. Thank you.